97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It all comes back to money.
Visit our store right now at zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net to take advantage of all the best deals in the Tennessee Valley. Or just go to our website, 977espn.com, and click on the Zone Deals logo to start saving right now.
Now, as to the price.
These deals won't last long, so get yours now. Zone Deals. You'll thank us later.
A man who could easily afford to buy a vowel.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Stuart Evans, Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation in a changing rate environment. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit me at our downtown Huntsville office and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Bryant Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family, because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
We are walking you up to the Jimmy V Classic here on a Tuesday. The number one team in college basketball is about to tip it up against the U. That would be the Tennessee Volunteers. Oh, yeah. The Tennessee Volunteers are the number one team in men's college basketball. Number two on that list is the Auburn Tigers. Auburn receiving 3 votes after they took an L in Cameron Indoor. But Alabama is 7th as well. But we've got a doubleheader of action for you coming up tonight.
How many SEC schools are in
the top 25?
Yes.
So Tennessee, Auburn are 1, 2. Kentucky is 5. Alabama is 7. Florida is 9. And Oklahoma is 13. Texas A&M is 17. Ole Miss is 19. And Mississippi State is 25.
SEC Network. That's incredible.
On the subject of basketball, congratulations to the Chargers last night. A 33-point win on their home court last night over West Florida. And they are the 14th ranked team in the country, now on an 8-game winning streak. And we'll have their next game for you Saturday at Lee University. And that'll be a big one there on the road, taking on the Flames. And that'll be over on Talk Radio WZZN on Saturday because of so much that is going on over the airwaves here. Because coming up on Saturday, we'll have the Celebration Bowl leading into the Army-Navy game. And then as soon as we're done there, Alabama taking on Creighton Saturday night as well. So there is a lot to sift through, including our Christmas party coming up on Monday, as we'll be broadcasting live from Flow Trampoline Park there at Flow. Feel free to come on by and bring an unwrapped toy, and that's your...
And, hey, we have a gift for you, too. We're going to have a raffle, door prizes.
Oh, plenty of them.
So
plenty of them.
You're not just giving gifts, you're getting gifts.
That's right. 256-576-4977, the telephone number. So just a 1-hour show today, but we are on for 2 hours. Coming up tomorrow's, we'll be live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill. So come on by Baumhauer's tomorrow, and that'll lead right into Crawdaddy's show because we are now beyond Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer show. We heard a little bit from the Alabama head football coach yesterday as he spoke to the media on Sunday about the announcement of the ReliaQuest Bowl between Alabama and Michigan. That made me want to reach out to Al Borges, and the noted author is going to join us here in about 10 minutes' time. But it did, I went a little into the numbers, the SEC numbers in particular. Who do you think threw for the most touchdown passes this year just in conference play, Wes Neighbors?
I have no idea.
I had a guess, and my guess was right. Quinn Ewers, who only played 7 conference games, remember he was injured in the first game against Mississippi State, threw for 16 touchdown passes. Who threw for the fewest amount of conference touchdown passes? Jalen Milroe, 5 touchdown passes in conference play.
Wow. There goes some of the problem there.
And that's, next closest to that is Talon Green, who threw for 8 touchdown passes for Arkansas. So on the other side of it, throwing for the most interceptions just in conference play. And I kind of knee-jerk and was thinking about, well, maybe Marcel Reed, but he didn't play enough. But then I was thinking about, no, not Pavia. He was pretty efficient with the ball. But then I was thinking...
It had to be the LSU guy.
Well, LSU, that'd be Garrett Nussmeier, threw for 8 picks. It's not a bad guess, but there was 2 players that threw for double-digit picks just in SEC play this year. Carson Beck had 12 interceptions in SEC play. The other that had double-digit picks, Jalen Milroe, 10 interceptions. He had 5 touchdown throws and 10 picks.
That's not, well, the reason they lost the 3 games they did. Well, the Tennessee game threw a pick at the first, I know Oklahoma, there were 2 huge picks in the second half that sealed that deal. And, of course, the first pick he threw against Vanderbilt was just a kind of a lucky thing. But
yeah.
It's a good play. He's a little late throwing it, but it was usually that ball's knocked down, not knocked up. So
the passing efficiency, I don't have the QBR because that's not how the SEC breaks it down. But in terms of passing efficiency, this is how the SEC ranks them. Jackson Dart is the most efficient quarterback in the Southeastern Conference. Again, this is just SEC play.
Well, how many picks he had?
Four.
3 of them in one game, though, against Florida.
Yeah.
Actually threw 3 in a row, but the 2 of them didn't count on this.
Jackson Dart had 4 picks in SEC play. He is the most efficient quarterback, followed by Lenoris Sellers, the South Carolina quarterback. And third on the list is Marcel Reed from Texas A&M. Quinn Ewers is 4th on the list. Peyton Thorne is 5th on this list. He's above Nico, Jalen Milroe, Taylon Green, Diego Pavia, and Carson Beck is 10th on the list for passing efficiency just in SEC play. It kind of took me by surprise a little bit because of the weapon that Jalen had with his legs. I didn't really realize it was that big of a disparity from touchdowns.
When you run a touchdown, you can't throw for one at the same time,
I get
Steve,
that.
so
I get that.
How many touchdown runs do you have?
12.
Yeah. How many did the next guy have?
I believe it was 8 by Pavia. But by the way, if I'm an Auburn fan out there, don't look at the all-purpose yards for the SEC. Don't do it. All-purpose yards leading SEC play just in conference games is Dylan Sampson. That's no great surprise. Second on the list is Jarquez Hunter. When he was given the opportunity, ended up averaging 119 yards a game, did Jarquez Hunter. And I still don't.
He wasn't used enough. We all know that.
Other names on the list included Raheem Sanders. That's Rocket. There was South Carolina. Barry and Brown, who, by the way, is in the transfer portal. Portal update is the last I checked about an hour ago. We're up to 3,900 names, right over 3,900 names in the transfer portal. So we shall see. Let's squeeze in Wolverine Dan before we hear from Al Borges, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into this Alabama-Michigan contest. How are you?
Well, for Alabama, it's consolation. For us, we're just happy to play Alabama. But we lost Graham, Mason Graham, our great defensive lineman, and I hear Grant's going to be going, and possibly Johnson from the backfield, and Loveland are really good tight ends. So we're going to be kind of depleted. So we'll see how this plays out. I'm not sure how many players Bama's lost, but it's again, for us, we're excited to play. There's no doubt about it. Alabama and everything. But for Alabama, it is a consolation. They feel bad they didn't make the playoffs. They're a quality team. They've been like that for many, many years, Wes. And I don't know what to say about it. I hope it's a good game.
Well, last time they said this was, I think, in 2010, and we played Michigan State down there.
Oh, yeah.
And
that was the get-right game.
That was the if they could have thrown up a flag, I think they would have surrendered.
That game was done at halftime.
Yeah, those guys, they got it. But I don't know.
We could very well be.
Yeah, so I don't know if
Kirk Cousins, I think, was the quarterback,
sure
for
was.
Michigan State.
Well, for part of the time.
Yes, he wasn't the quarterback at the end of the game.
Yeah, so who knows? I don't know if anybody's going to opt out, or everybody's going to opt out. Who knows? You don't know nowadays.
I see Hunter Osborne hopping in the portal today. Danny Lewis, the tight end at Alabama.
I don't even know who Hunter Osborne is.
Yeah, he is a defensive lineman. And still, Kendrick Law to me is probably one of the bigger names that is in the portal.
I was told that they weren't going to offer him any money.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
that was that was expected. because that he busted too many coverages. I mean, not coverages, but busted too many routes.
Okay. The coaching staff would know better than I would.
Yeah, so that I was shocked to hear that now because I like the way he blocked.
Yeah,
and they say he's a very good blocker. But some of these guys are, what's happening now is a little different than what happened 2-3 years ago with the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys are going to say, okay, somebody offer them this. And them say, well, we're going to sign this guy. It's better than this guy, and we can get him for less money. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so money becomes a part of the deal now. It's just like the NFL with no rules.
Well, by the way, that is probably the top story of the day that I did not lead with. The fact that we were kind of given an alert about it yesterday because Chris Lowe was on our to-do list, but he had to jump off because some guy named Belichick, and indeed he is the next head football coach in Chapel Hill at the University of North Carolina.
You have to find Brady's and Gronk talking about that and how he would be recruiting. It's awesome. Go ahead, Wolverine Dan. Sorry.
Well, gentlemen, I'm not going to go really long with this, but real quickly, Belichick brings his son in there, and any good daddy is just trying to get his son set up, which I can understand. And if he's half as good as his father, it's going to be a great coach. But I'm looking forward to the matchup. We'll see how it plays out. I'm disappointed with this transfer portal too. Wes, I'm disappointed with a lot of this. This is just what the heck is what in the great wild world of sports is going on. That's pretty much how I feel, Wes. It's ridiculous. It's not like, oh my God, what happened to honor and just playing for a team that you love, that maybe you followed all your life and your mom and dad rooted for, and I want to play for the team that my dad rooted for. That's all out the window. 3,900. My God.
Well, let me tell you. So these two of these guys they announced today, and really, of the people in the portal, the Caleb guy, I think he's going to Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the ones that Ole Miss offered him a bunch of money, but they didn't think he was worth keeping at this time. I think he has a lot of potential, but he didn't catch a pass this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a good spring. He has a chance to be really good. But Dan, a lot of these guys of the 3,900, 60% won't go anywhere.
That's right. Yeah.
Like the two guys today, they barely played last year.
Dan, we are right up against a break. Do you have anything else for us, sir?
Yeah, I do. Don't ever travel on 565 going from Huntsville to Madison at 5 o'clock. Every time we do this, we're in a parking lot.
Well, unless you got old Ginger right next to you.
Yeah.
I do have wonderful young Ginger, yes. Grouchy old Ginger.
It's not that we remember you mentioning
Ginger.
Old Ginger.
Old Ginger.
Yeah.
I need to drive at least 55.
All right. See you later.
Al Borges is set to join us on the other side. By the way, I guess there's your traffic report, courtesy of Wolverine Dan.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Lots of wise and well-informed car buyers wait all year long for this time of year because they know year-end deals are worth the wait. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. We've got 700 Fords for you to choose from. And if you've had your eye on a 24 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, or Escape, listen up. Come and see us at Woody Anderson Ford today, and you'll drive home with no payments for 90 days, plus get financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months and $1,000 in bonus cash. This is good, and it bears repeating. Come get your best year-end deal on a 24 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, or Escape, and you'll keep your cash for the holidays and make no payments for 90 days. You'll also get financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months. Plus, we're going to throw in $1,000 holiday bonus cash. The year end is here, and we've got the deals that make it worth the wait. With your good credit, these offers end December 31st, only at Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Bob Baumhauer here. Are you out of ideas for those stocking stuffers? Our selection of delicious signature sauces make great stocking stuffers for that chef of the house. Kick up your favorite holiday dish with our legendary hot sauce. If you enjoy our char-grilled black and white chicken, then grab a bottle of our fabulous legendary white barbecue sauce. Would you like to have a Bam Bam shrimp on your holiday menu? That's easy. Just pick up a bottle of Baumhauer's Thai sweet chili sauce. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-Sparky.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here with you on The Drive, walking you up to some college basketball. It's the Jimmy V Classic, the number 1 team in the country, the Tennessee Vols, taking on the Miami Hurricanes, and that'll be followed by Arkansas.
I had a Tennessee client of mine in the office yesterday. I asked him how the basketball team is, and he
didn't know.
No, he says they're going to be good.
Well, they're number 1.
Yeah, that's good.
Arkansas and Michigan later on tonight. And you'll be able to hear it right here. Also coming up at the top of the hour over on WZZN TV, it's the Havoc Hour. Joe Hunk will have the Havoc Hour for you.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Because we've got a lot going on. It is now time to dive in a little bit deeper into, is it still football season? I think it's still football season. As a noted author, Coach Al Borges is kind enough to join us. How are you, Coach?
Wonderful, guys. How you doing?
Very well. That was
yes.
Let's
talk about it.
Did the game surprise you as much as it did me of what happened in Columbus?
Oh God, yeah, it did. I mean, I couldn't see any reason how Michigan could win that game. You know, there just was the deck was stacked against them. Their 2 best players, best offensive player, arguably best defensive player. Will Johnson and Colston Loveland, the tight end, who has been a mainstay for them offensively, didn't play. And it was, a mediocre Michigan team at best, particularly by the standards that have been set of late. And it's, it's like the Iron Bowl, man. You don't know, records are kind of irrelevant when you go into the game because you're going to get the best effort from whoever is out there, And Michigan got into the game, and defensively, their front just really kind of manhandled it.
Yeah. Ohio State's
Alabama offensive line, and that was a difference. I mean,
Well,
Hey,
Ohio State
I went
offensive
and
line
broke the film down. They had 41 times they left the box light. I mean, they had two safeties trying to run zone plays into Grant and Graham, and they couldn't. They 2.3 a rush. I mean, against a light box. That's manhandling the front now. I mean, they're two gapping those guys, and they're stopping them, and they can't run the football. So, I mean, they adjusted a little late. They tried to throw it, but then they started getting a little pressure on them, and I don't know. It was a tough one. It wasn't hard to analyze after the fact, but it was kind of weird before the game.
The Ohio State quarterback is not a great quarterback.
No, he had done some good things. No, he's not a great quarterback, but he had done some good things during the course of the season. He made some throws, made some broke up, but no, he's not a great player. But doggone it, it wasn't all him either. They had they just didn't. They didn't play up to what they've been playing up to, and they faced a really good defensive front. They got in a low-scoring game. People today, I hear this all the time. Oh, time of possession doesn't make any. Well, that depends on the team.
Well, it depends on the game too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody scores 7 touchdowns and averaging 2.5 minutes a touchdown, it doesn't matter. That time of possession doesn't matter in that game, right? But how many times have we seen these teams that score quick in the fourth quarter, they start fading because their defense gives out?
Well, to me, I did a study on this about 7 or 8 years ago on fast offense teams. Scoring lots of points and how it would affect your defense. And believe me, it's drastic because of the volume of plays that your defense is forced to defend. They are going to give up more yards. Now, sometimes it doesn't matter. You can, like you say, you can outscore them. But in a game where you face a formidable defense and a team that can rush the football, and you're not allowed to fast break the whole game, that was a typical example of that. There's other ones. Most of the great teams, and I think of Alabama, and so they are not necessarily tempo teams. They may have tempo in their offense, but they're not. Their culture is not tempo. So
but
I
believe, Coach, it's there's a fine line between I have one of my sons that coaches at Ole Miss, and of course he doesn't say this, but I do, and the fact that when you go for it, the two games they got beat, Kentucky and LSU, those two games, they lost the games in the first half when they didn't kick field goals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they lost both those games by a field goal, mm-hmm. and they didn't attempt 3 or 4 times in the red zone. They didn't attempt it. They went for it on 4th and 3 and stuff like that. I mean, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I think anybody that talks a lot. Have you ever known anybody to win the national championship that talks about what's it called? Analytics.
No, analytics is something you use but don't abuse. Okay. We all look at analytics, and we look at it, but analytics doesn't apply to every team. Some teams, there's that general analysis that says go for it on 3rd down or go for it on 4th down. Go for it on 4th down. Don't kick a field goal. That may not apply. That may apply to one team. That may not apply to another team. Everybody's different. So you can't take one stat and have it rule all your thinking. That's absurd. That's absurd in any sport. So you got to consider the circumstances, the team you're playing. How good is your package in that situation? Do you feel like you have a great – but to say every single time, if it's inside the 50-yard line and it's 4th and 3, we're going for it, that's being a purist, and that's going to get you beat eventually. That might work a little bit, but eventually that's going to get you beat. So you have to analyze the game with your instincts, with your personnel being at the top of your mind. How is my personnel match against their personnel? How does that match the situation? Should I go for it? It's got to be a calculated risk based on your information, not necessarily some all-encompassing analytical analogy.
And you got a lot of this has to do with film study during the week, what you like, what you don't like.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the thing: I had trouble with Alabama this year. We were playing in the lead in both these games. We have a lead. There's a minute and a half left in the half, and we have the ball like on the 10-yard line. Both of these examples, we end up turning the ball over. What was your rules when and both times we backed up to pass. Actually, we did it 3 times. What were your rules when you got the ball late in the second half with the lead, and the ball like inside your 20? What would you do? Would you ever back up to pass, or would you try to get to the 35, 40-yard line? That was our rules before we would throw a pass.
Well, that's exactly right. What we would do generally in that type of situation is we would run the football on first down and see if – and it would be a run designed for a pass defense, like a draw, trap,
yes, yeah.
Okay? And if it popped clean, we'd go right into 2-minute now. We're going to go for the throat.
Yeah.
But if for some reason that run didn't hit, you're 2nd and 10, you got the lead, you don't want to leave the field without the momentum. And in particular, leave the field with a turnover. Now, that's painful if you're ahead at the time. So we would usually test the waters with a running play, again, something designed for a pass defense, see if it broke. And sometimes it did. Sometimes it did break.
Mm-hmm.
So I would tell the quarterback we'll have to field, if this breaks, go right into attack mode, okay? If this doesn't break, look to me for the next call, and I'll give you what we're going to do. So, again, it's all it's all different. In some games, we wouldn't even do that. Some games, we just say, okay, we're gonna run the clock out, going ahead at halftime. So it's a lot of it's feel, a lot of it's.
So let me tell you what happened. This was a South Carolina game, Coach.
Cut and dried answer to that question.
Well, but
it's all about your people.
A lot of yes, but to me, when you're playing, Alabama's ahead 14-0. It's 4th and 19 from
this
the
is the
35
South Carolina game
against
Coach.
South Carolina.
Yeah, I'd run the football and get the hell out of there. Yeah.
Well, what happened? No. So South Carolina has the ball. They go for it. They throw a touchdown pass. So now it's 14-7. Alabama gets the ball. First play, throws an interception. I mean, inside their 20, throws the ball, throws an interception. South Carolina gets the ball, turns it back over to Alabama. Now it's less than a minute. We throw another interception. They kick a field goal, and it's 14-10 at halftime.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual circumstances, but that can happen. I mean, it's all in your feel. How good's your defense? I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. There is no cut and dried answer to that question unless I have to know what the personnel is, what situation, where the ball's placed, how good are we at a 2-minute drill. Sometimes you just got to cut and run a little bit. Other times you want to attack. I don't know that I've done it exactly the same way twice in a row, but fortunately I don't remember throwing a lot of interceptions in 2-minute drills, although we may have. I'm sure we did, but nothing like you just explained.
That was what I was frustrated the most this year is I felt like we kept people in the game by making mistakes when there wasn't a lot of the risk reward wasn't there at the time.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah, that's what you got to calculate. That's what you got to calculate as a coach. I know that games are won, guys, a lot of different ways. And sometimes it's that field goal that you kick in the first quarter that wins in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you got that 3 points or that 7 points that makes them have to go for it on fourth down in their 2-minute drive, or they're forced to kick the field goal to tie the game or whatever. But it was kicked in the first quarter. It wasn't kicked in the fourth quarter, you know. So you're better to leave with a ham sandwich. You like a steak, but sometimes you got to leave with a ham sandwich, and sometimes that ham sandwich keeps you from starving, if you know what I mean.
Well, I was always told, and correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, of the hardest points to score are the first ones, and so many times the analytics is just, it feels like it's taken over a little bit more common sense.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, but I'm a little bit old school, and they'll look at me and I'll just say, you're a dinosaur. That doesn't work anymore, but I don't believe it. Because I see too many of these games that are being blown. I've seen more games this year, guys. I'm not kidding you. Watch your television. With clock management, overkill on analytics that have completely been blown. They've just been blown. You've had the game should have been won for whatever reason if they would have judiciously run the ball when they should have run the ball, or kicked the field goal when they should have kicked the field goal.
Yeah.
Didn't make a crucial timeout, didn't use all their timeouts, left timeouts in the back. I have seen this every single week.
I watched it this weekend. I mean, I don't know if it was SMU who had 3 timeouts and the time was running out, and they ended up scoring. But if they got one tackle, I mean, they had 3 timeouts and it got down to 25 seconds, and they finally used one. I mean,
you don't get any points for those timeouts.
You do not get any points for those timeouts.
How well do you know Rhett, Coach?
I don't know Rhett.
I just assume with that tie-in with Gus, and of course your tie-in with the Auburn program, although I know it was different regimes, but I just thought there may have been maybe a connection there.
No, I missed him. He was not around when I was there.
Yeah. But it's been impressive on what he's been able to accomplish. That was a program that did a quarterback change, I think, 4 games into the season. So
yeah, it took some guts. It did, and they proved themselves in this last game, even though they didn't win. They proved they're worthy, and that's impressive to me.
Well, size up this matchup from what you see between Alabama and Michigan. What part 2 in the same calendar year?
Who's going to play?
If I knew that answer.
I hear about the opt-out. I hear these guys say, I love my school. I love my school. Oh, it's great. Well, I find out how much you love it when you don't have to play in the game. That's we'll see how many people.
Especially the how much part that you're relating to right there, Coach.
Exactly, right. So, until I find that out, I have no take on the game. I don't know who's playing. Is Milroe going to play? I don't know.
I don't know. I really don't.
See, I'm going to tell you something about that.
That makes a little bit of difference. You know,
little bit.
Alabama's quarterback situation is pretty good. I mean, it'd be interesting to me what the defense would do if he didn't play.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Because they would have much to study.
I don't know.
It'd be interesting.
I don't think it makes any difference with Michigan from that perspective, but it sure as hell is going to make a difference with Alabama.
What kind of season did Sharon Moore have other than when you take a look at it of 5 losses? What kind of season was it from your perspective?
Well, I'll say this now, and he did a hell of a job of getting an average team to play hard every single week. What Michigan made their mistake is they kind of sat on a pat hand, said, "Hey, this is what we got. We think we're good," but they weren't. They miscalculated that. They probably should have went after some more portal kids, and that hurt them, you know. And then they got into the season. They realized, gee, many Christmas, this is a much bigger drop off than we expected. But the thing Sharon Moore did is he kept that team playing hard. Their team offensively was not good at all. I mean, they averaged, I think, 21, 22 points a game, less than 300 total yards. They were just not producing. You know, now they could run the ball some, which helped them in close games because the defense was pretty good, you know, so they could win 7 games just playing close to the vest. But in terms of explosive plays, there were very few. The quarterback play was below average. They were not very dynamic on the flank. The receivers just were not a factor, although Colston Loveland, the tight end, was a factor. Was a good, and they had 2 good running backs.
Yeah.
But the offensive line was 5 new players. Wow. You guys all know what that's like. 5. I don't care how good they are when they're new.
Yeah.
They got to work together, and that takes some time.
Well, you don't know what you don't
know.
You know, you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't. So the bottom line is the mediocre offense, great place kicker, average punter, average punting. I think the punter's a better punter than he punted, but you know, the results are what they are. Great defensive front, linebacking, secondary was average when they lost Will Johnson. They're kind of fortunate to be 7-5, but there are a couple games where they could be better. So I don't know where they could have won. So I'm not sure they couldn't have done better. I'm not sure they could have done worse. But it is not a great Michigan football team, but it is a team that will come to play because they take on the head coach's personality.
Well, what
proven by the Michigan game, Ohio State game.
So who do you like for the champion to win it all?
Well, I've shifted gears. After, and you're going to laugh maybe a little bit, after Ohio State played Oregon and Oregon won, I said Ohio State would win the national championship. Now, that sounds crazy, right? I thought Ohio State had a better team, period. I thought they were too equipped. They were good on defense, great wide receivers, quarterback was solid, offensive line was, they got a couple guys hurt in their defense. Now, they did lose 2 offensive linemen, which hurt them big time later in the season. But they were salty. They looked good to me. I mean, they looked like they had all the guys to win it all. But then I've watched them play the last few games. I don't know that they got the mojo to win it all. I think Oregon does. I think Oregon's the best team. Oregon rushes the football well. They got a dynamic quarterback. They're good on defense. They're solid in their sound. Their kicking game is good, and they have incredible mojo. They know when they need to play, they play. They can create explosive plays. Outside, they can create explosive plays running the football. And the quarterback, when things break down, has great improvisational skills. So I would say they are the best team in the country right now. Now, I don't know. They may not win it, but if for my money, I would bet on them now.
So, who's the best team Michigan played? Was it Oregon? Did they play Oregon?
Yeah.
What was that score? Yeah. I didn't watch that game.
Oh, God, I don't remember, but it ended up a couple touchdowns. It wasn't a bad game for a while, but it ended up, I don't know.
So where would Texas fit in there, Coach?
Texas would be right there. I probably would call Texas the second best team. Now, Texas against Georgia, you can't beat Georgia, and I don't think it's a great Georgia team. I think it's a good Georgia team.
I think this is Kirby's best job to get this team into where they are.
I would agree because I think the quarterback has been inconsistent. Certain facets of the Georgia team that's usually really, really good has not always showed up like it has in the past. So I would not. I'd be surprised if they won it. But Texas, who is very good on defense, has an excellent quarterback. I think they could be in it. I think they have a chance, but I don't know if they can beat Oregon. I just don't know if they're in it.
But they won't play Oregon to the end, right?
Yeah, I guess they wouldn't. Yeah. So I don't know. But I would say they would be one of the top three. But I would not pick them to win.
The Oregon score, by the way, 38-17. Oregon won that inside the Big House there on November the 2nd.
They got a couple late, and it got a little uglier than it actually was, but they did beat them by.
Well, what do you think of? Does Tennessee have an opportunity? You think there in Columbus?
I think Tennessee does have an opportunity, but I don't think they're as good as Ohio State. Now, if Ohio State doesn't play like they played last week and doesn't show up. Tennessee has got a great chance to beat Ohio State. Ohio State's a bit of an enigma, guys. I'm just telling you, man. Nebraska had a chance to beat Ohio State, and I think Tennessee's better than them. So I think Tennessee does have a chance. But if I was a betting man, I would still lean towards Ohio State.
So if Tennessee wins that game, does Ryan Day fly home with Tennessee?
No, if Tennessee wins that game, Ryan Day's going to have to walk home from the stadium. I think.
Oh man,
I can't even.
And he better be under police escort.
Oh goodness, when the camera zoomed in on him, and especially with the incident that happened with the pepper spray and the planting of the flag, I just.
So what do you think about all that, Coach?
I'm not a fan. I think you win the game. That speaks for itself. I don't think you need all that stuff. But they were doing it. That was the first time. I think they had like 3 or 4 incidents that weekend.
Yeah,
that came up. And a couple of them ended up in fights. I think they're going to mandate something. They're going to say, you got to be off the field by X amount of time. We're going to fine you or whatever. There'll be some rule come up next year where that just won't be allowed. You won't have a chance to do it. But if I were the head coach, I wouldn't allow it anyway. I think you make your statement by winning the football game and any posturing
and
after
you go,
that.
And then all you do is go say, "Good game," and go to your locker room.
Yeah, that's what we did, didn't it?
Yes.
We didn't do all that stuff.
When we played in the Iron Bowl, there was nothing but mad respect on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
And almost every year, I think every year I was there, it came down to one last play. I mean, it was all one-score games, and most of them were field goals or missed field goals, and it was,
Well, what's interesting, guys, I coached in both those games, several of them, okay? And I get the question all the time, which one's I did. It's a tough one to answer. The one thing I will say is this. When Alabama played Auburn, when I was there anyway, now this may have been different with you guys, but there were no fights on the field between the players at all.
Never.
Now the fans got a little rousy, loud lip sometimes.
Yeah.
But the between the players, there was a mutual respect.
Yes.
And there was not a lot of extracurriculars. But Ohio State, Michigan, every year I coached the game, there was some kind of fight. I mean, there was something on a kickoff one time. There was something, a guy getting knocked out of bounds. Oh my goodness! And then there's this year. You can see what happened after the. For some reason, that happens in that game. I don't know that it's any more intense or any different, but I think just the reactions to losing or reactions to bad things that happen during the game are different than the Alabama-Auburn game for whatever reason.
Talking to Coach Al Borges right now.
We all live in the same state, and we all have to go to work the next. And as far as the people in the stands, I think if the players were drinking as much as them, we would be fighting.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Coach, I did want to get a thought on the playoffs, at least from a betting perspective. Vegas believes that we're going to see a ton of blowouts. Notre Dame an 8.5-point favorite. Penn State a 9-point favorite. Texas an 11-point favorite. Ohio State a 7.5-point favorite. I mean, these games, at least from a bettor's perspective, don't look good in terms of that perspective. What kind of games do you think we're going to see?
I think they're all going to be better than everybody thinks, okay? And some of these teams, I don't know how much people see, okay? I went back 3 weeks ago to a 30th reunion of a team I coached at Boise State back in 1994. And I saw them play, and they're pretty good. Now, they don't play the schedule, okay? But let me tell you something about Boise State. They play up when they play somebody good, okay? That's the way they play. That's the way they've always played.
Yeah, but I'm going to say this, Coach, and if strength of schedule doesn't matter, then why are they telling us it does? You know what I'm saying? Because, you can't do that in the SEC. You can't just get up for the good games. You got to get up every week, and that's a different deal.
It is, believe me. I can tell you that. Like, they'll tell you an SEC schedule team, well, you played all weak teams in the non-conference. Yeah, but we played killers during the conference, okay?
Well, my non-conference games my senior year, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Penn State. Yeah.
Yeah,
those were our non-conference games my senior year.
Yeah, you don't see that much anymore.
Because it's brutal. You can't do it.
Was that the last gift there from Bear Bryant before?
Well, we had a 10-year deal with Penn State, and it was, they don't play fair. I mean, the first year we went up there, Coach, this is true. We flew into Harrisburg because they wouldn't. Their airport was so short you couldn't get a big plane in there on purpose.
You don't need to tell me. You don't need to tell me. It scared the hell out of me. We flew into there.
Wow. We did too the second time, and we flew up on 3 prop planes. True story. One of the prop planes lost what's it called? Compression, and had a drop. I wasn't on that one, thank God. Had a drop below 10,000 feet. But they also, the first year we were up there, they wet the grass.
Okay,
they let it grow longer, and then they had the field watered down. Hadn't rained down there. We had to go buy cleats, the longer screw ends, before the game. They went to the store, the athletic store there, and bought every cleat they had. So our receivers because they were falling down. It looked like a circus in the pregame.
Sounds like pretty good strategy to me.
Yeah. So then this is the best. Mike Gooman, who, if you don't know, is famous down here.
I remember Mike Gooman, yeah.
Yeah, his dad was one of the officials, and he's the one that called when we caught the touchdown pass and our guy was in bounds before replay. They called it; it was incomplete. You remember that game?
I don't. That was I was around, but I don't remember that.
So
game.
Flashback to 1990. So it was after I left. 1989. We're up there again playing them, and after that we complained so much. The Southeastern Conference officials did the game up there.
Yeah,
they did it at home and up there. So we had Southeastern Conference officials for the rest of the time we were after that game.
Coach, you were at Portland State at that point.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was still a young pup back then. I like Southeastern Conference, but sometimes I don't like them either. You know, but so it was. Oh, you get SEC conference officials. I go.
No, some of theirs are
big deal.
You're right.
When you went to Boise, did they make you climb up the goalpost?
Oh yeah, they did. When we hadn't beaten Idaho, I had just been there a couple years. My second year, Idaho had a twin streak on them. And, oh, God, it was horrible because that was a big rivalry, guys. That was 1AA, and they just hated each other, okay? So they kept asking, when are you going to beat Idaho? When are you going to beat Idaho? When are you going to beat Idaho? So I said, I don't know. I go, what are you going to do if you beat Idaho? And I was just kidding. I said, I'm going to tear down the goalpost. That didn't mean anything. Oh, man. When it happened and we beat them, everybody stormed the field. Two guys grabbed me, and the field opened like the Red Sea, and they escorted me up the goalpost. And I felt like a complete ass.
So you helped them tear down the goalpost?
Oh, we never got it down, man. The guy that built it told me, "You're not getting that down."
How did you get down?
The same way I got up. They pulled me up and they brought me down. I promise you, I didn't do any climbing.
On delay.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, here we go again. The portal opens and National Signing Day last Wednesday. Coach, this is just a mess.
Well, when are we going to stop doing this, guys? If we have this conversation again, I'm blaming you two. This is ridiculous. Now, we got to get this thing under control, this portal deal. Now, NIL's a reality. We know that. I think there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. But this portal thing, goodness gracious.
I don't think high school students should get
1,000 kids that want to transfer? What's going on?
No,
what are we doing?
It's 3,900, right?
I'm hearing testing the market.
Testing the market.
Yeah, testing the market.
Hey guys, NFL players don't get to do this.
I know.
They don't get to do this. What are we doing? What are we doing? How long is this going to go on?
I'm hoping until February or March, and I'm hoping by then that somebody in Washington will be able to get their the same thing the NFL has, I forget what it's called, but
an exemption?
It's an exemption, basically, and they'll do a deal where the kids can get NIL money, true NIL money, and maybe a base salary as well, which is what most of the schools are doing anyway now. And go from there. I mean, and then have just sensible things. If you sign with a team, you're signing with a team, and maybe if you're after 2 years you can leave. But I think the school should get some compensation at that time if you do leave.
Well, just sign a contract with an NIL with the condition if the coach leaves, the head coach leaves. Then you can leave. That aside, you got to fulfill the contract.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do in the pros, right?
Yeah.
If you want to operate like pros, let's operate like pros.
There you go.
The only thing I would say, if you graduate from the school, then you can leave. I love that.
I agree with that. Totally agree with that. I think the graduate transfer rule is a damn good rule.
Yes,
and if you graduate, you're a free agent. I'm for that. That aside, you play to the contract or you suffer the repercussions. Period.
Is Indiana as good as they're ranked to be? Is my final question.
They're pretty good, but they've played their schedule. I looked at it again yesterday, and my goodness. Now, let me tell you something. In their defense, okay? I coached in Indiana, and we couldn't beat any of those teams they beat. Okay, I want to be fair. They are pretty darn good because they're good offensively, and their front's good defensively. Now, can they play with the big boys?
Notre Dame?
Yeah, Notre Dame. Well, the guys that are in it. That will remain to be seen, and I'm going to have to see it to believe it. But to their credit, they have been very good. They have moved the football. Their quarterback's been efficient. They can rush it, and they play defense against whatever you put in front of them. And that's all you can really go by.
Yeah.
Whoever they put in front of them, they whip their butt other than Ohio State.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Coach, I always appreciate the time, and try to stay off those goalposts best you can.
I'll do my best. I haven't been on one since then. I have no intention of doing it anytime soon.
Always enjoy our conversations, Coach.
All right, guys. Great talking to you.
It's noted author of
He's fun to talk
to.
to.
Yeah. Deny the Tiger is the name of the book. And I would argue the two teams that arguably are going to change college football here moving forward, especially within the last 20 years, how about the 04 Auburn Tigers and the 2024 Alabama Crimson Tide? We shall see moving forward, but
well, the current system is going away.
Yes,
I can guarantee you that, and it went away Sunday when the best conference and there's schools that have more top 25 wins than anybody don't get in. There's something wrong with that.
We do need to take our final time out, and we've got some basketball for you at the top of the hour with Miami taking on the Tennessee Vols coming up.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188, and you can email me at that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Maybe a couple of isolated showers as we head into the overnight early into your Wednesday morning. The Wednesday morning commute should be dry. We are going to be on the cooler end of the spectrum. Temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 30s. A little more sunshine through Wednesday afternoon. A mostly to partly sunny sky, though we are going to be much cooler across the Tennessee Valley compared to what we had on Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 40s, dropping into the mid 20s through the overnight early Thursday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I wanna thank you. Thank you for making us your number one choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Jimmy V Week continues. Tennessee and Miami currently going on right now. We're going to join it in progress as the number one team in the country, the Tennessee Volunteers, leading it over the U, 21-15, the score there. As soon as they are done, it'll be Arkansas and Michigan. But if you'd like to donate, you go to v.org, and 100% of the donations will go to cancer research there for the Jimmy V Foundation. That's v.org to give and donate, as 100% will go directly towards cancer research.
And what a testament! What a real testament to Jim Valvano. How much money they raised for cancer research.
And that 30 for 30 short on the speech as well.
Oh wow!
Was it's. I mean, the Survive and Advance 30 for 30, I watch it every single time that I see it on the air. But even the story behind the speech as well, it is an amazing thing to watch if you've not seen that part of it as well, of the plane ride up, of what he had to endure just to, and when you take a look at the speech, the entire 15-minute speech, it was just remarkable. He will always be remembered. There's no doubt about that. No, just for the 82.
I've watched that speech maybe 100 times.
Yeah, so good. Especially faith, family, and the Green Bay Packers.
I'm going to watch it now.
If there's three things, he's at Rutgers, and if there's three things, faith, family, and the Green Bay Packers. Vols basketball comes up next. The Havoc Hour is about to crank up over on WZZN TV. Joe Hunk will anchor that coverage. Head over to our YouTube page and check out some Huntsville Havoc hockey coverage. Havoc are back at home on Friday. I'll have the call there. Joe Hunk will have the call on Saturday. Talk to you tomorrow from Baumhauer's.
Lots of wise and well-informed car buyers wait all year long for this time of year because they know year-end deals are worth the wait. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. We've got 700 Fords for you to choose from. And if you've had your eye on a 24 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, or Escape,